Hi Year 12s, welcome back. Answer these 3 questions, pause the video to try and do them as a recap. Alrighty, we looked at non-self and self markers on our cells and other cells. We looked at antigens being the marker on a organism or living or non-living that's trying to invade you, and that's what we call an antigen. Right. We have our pathogen, which is the cellular or non-cellular microorganisms trying to get inside you and wreak havoc. All right, so what are the types of pathogens in the first line of defense? So what do pathogens do in the body? So they can do multiple things. One of them is secreting poisons or toxins if it's a bacterium. So it could be anything, endotoxin, neurotoxin, that irritate your body. They can cause immune responses. All right, when a pathogen is detected, blood is directed to the area. Okay. And that makes this swelling occur. Okay. Also increases body temperature and soreness. So what are our cellular pathogens we're looking at that are trying to invade? We have bacteria, fungi, parasites, and protists. Okay. So the main one here for protists is going to be the Plasmodium, which is malaria-causing organism. You have parasites. We normally tend to work with worms, parasitic worms, in this case. All right. We have fungi. All right. Particular fungal infections that get on your skin generally, or moist, wet, dark cavities. All right. And then, of course, we have bacterial infections. Okay. So what do bacteria do? They can infect almost any part of your body. Endotoxins and neurotoxins are released, and they just cause problems. Fungi, right, skin infections, things like thrush, ringworm. Okay, not to be mistaken with mushrooms. Mushrooms aren't going to grow on your body, but mushrooms are just a type of fungi. Okay, really, it's a reproductive stage of fungi. We have parasites. We're just going to go with parasitic worms here. Okay, they're multicellular, they're invertebrates, and they are parasites. All right, again, some of the other pathogens are technically classed as parasites, but we just look at worms here. Okay. Our examples include tapeworms and roundworms, which are found inside your body. Okay, but again, multicellular invertebrate. That's important for these. All right, what other parasites? We have arthropods, things like mosquitoes, all right, leeches, all of those things, also known as animal vectors. And then we have our protists. Many different types and kinds of protists because they're kind of the extra group where nothing really fits into. All right, but they can do things like inhibit nucleic acid synthesis, protein synthesis, and destroy cellular respiration. All right, umicites is an interesting one. If you want to look up toxoplasmosis, it's a really cool one that cats give to people. All right, we have non-cellular pathogens. Okay, so they do not have a cellular structure, so they're not made of cells, and they're not even living. All right, in the case of a virus, it's just a few nucleic acids. So I'm going to draw here a few nucleic acids in here. Alrighty, and some proteins. Okay, and this one is literally just one misfolded protein. All right, and that zombifies the other proteins, the old prion. So those two there are viruses and prions. Okay, if it looks like protein, it's a prion. If it's a pathogen. So virus is an infectious agent composed of genetic material and a protein coat. Viruses are not able to independently reproduce. That is important. Instead, they insert their genetic material into the host cells. All right, so essentially, they steal or hijack your cells, and they turn it into, yep, you guessed it, viral protein-making factories. Inject DNA or RNA, and then create proteins, which then become viruses. Okay, then the cell will swell and burst, and there you go. They spread more. It's really interesting. Can be any of these. Notable one is a bacteriophage because that also attacks bacteria. We learnt about that when we looked at CRISPR-Cas9. We have prions too, abnormally folded proteins. I like to call them the zombie proteins. I really should have put a picture of a zombie here. They have the ability to induce normal proteins to misfold. Okay, so they occur in mammals and affect only the brain and other neural structures. So neurons and stuff as well, axons, terminals, all of those things. All right. What's an example? Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, as well as mad cow disease. Alrighty, so now we get to the first line of defense. So we have a few barriers that block these pathogens, and we'll get to that more in the next video too. But we have the physical barriers, we have the chemical barriers, and of course we have the microbiome in our stomach, also known as microbiota. Alright.